southwest Nigeria may have earned its appellation as the gateway state due to the global recognition of its pioneering strides, contributions, and leading roles in the areas of administration, commerce, education, medicine, law, availability of resources, and divinity.
Its strategic position as a link between Nigeria and the rest of the West African sub-region through its border with the Republic of Benin is also a major factor. Over the years, the state has witnessed a collapse of infrastructure across its length and breadth. These and other development issues are what the current administration, led by Senator Ibikunle Amosun, have been tackling headlong through its 5 cardinal programs using the Ogun Standard. On that note, we welcome you to the maiden edition of Ogun State Weekly on Channels Television, a program designed to track the rebuilding mission of Ogun State. I am Henry Ogunjimi.
And I am BC Adebayo. We pause briefly here, and when we return, we will set the ball rolling. Do join us again.
Out to construct 28 of these new model schools across Ogun State, the Amosun administration currently has 15 under construction. 10 out of these number are near commissioning. Designed to cater to 1,000 students each, the school, when fully furnished, has standard classrooms, 4 science laboratories, workshops, libraries, staff rooms, and 2 hostel blocks. All of these, the special advisor to the Governor on Education, Dr. Tunja Bimbola, says are for a purpose.
One of the things that we wanted to do was to give our children a very welcoming learning environment, but conducive to learning. Secondly, we felt that we needed to put a marker down that whoever in future wants to review and transform education, whoever wants to do that cannot step below what we're doing. They've got to go above it. But I can assure you that by end of September, this school is ready to go.
What is more disturbing for Governor Amosun is the growing number of children out of school because of lack of infrastructure. For the records, Ijebu-Ode, Shagamu, Ikene, Ishara, Agoiwoye, Obafemi Owode, Abeokuta, Onijangan, Ewekoro, Akiale Village, Ifo, Adodo, and Ikpokia are some of the locations where these schools are currently being constructed.
Welcome back. Who best to begin this first edition of the program with than that man himself who is on a mission to rebuild Ogun State, the Governor, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, FCA.
In this excerpt, Governor Ibikunle Amosun speaks to Ogun State Weekly on his 5 cardinal programs, which include affordable qualitative education, efficient healthcare delivery,
increased agricultural production and industrialization, efficient housing and urban renewal, rural and infrastructural development, and employment generation.
We are on a rebuilding mission, really, to rebuild Ogun State. And to do that, we enumerated 5 cardinal programs. The first one being education, which is the most important. The second one being health. The third is agriculture that will lead us to industrialization. Then the fourth is housing and urban renewal. The fifth, infrastructural development that will lead us to huge employment generation. On education, we want to have not just education, qualitative and affordable education. Because we are number one in education, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, really. We pioneered education more or less in Nigeria. We were the first to have access to Western education. And little wonder then when you see that in all human endeavor, mention the profession, you will see that Ogun State, we were always in the forefront, really. Whether in accounting, in medicine, in law, everywhere, even in engineering and in arts, in culture. You mentioned, you will see that Ogun State, we are always in the forefront there. It is because we have that opportunity and the privilege to be the first to have access to Western education. And even the free education that people are now still struggling to catch up with, of course, was introduced by the late stage Baba Femi Awolowo of blessed memory and his lieutenant. So when we came, we realized that the most important of all the things that we want to do is education, because it is an educated populace that can be easily governed. They will be able to be in sync with all your ideas. For me, once people are educated, they will in turn be able to develop all other areas, be it in health, be it in agriculture, be it in industrializing our state, be it in housing, in infrastructural development. It is those that are educated that can now put their knowledge, their know-how into all other areas. And that is why the first thing we did was to make education free. Because if we don't make education free, which means the sons of those and daughters of those that probably do not have as much as others do. I don't want to use the word poor, because for us in Ogun State, nobody is poor, nobody should be poor. Even when you don't have, we can improve your status to make sure that at least you will not be classified as totally being poor. So we want everybody to have equal access to education, because that is very important. So we started with free education for primary and secondary schools. But in the tertiary institutions, we realized that there's no way it can be free, but we will heavily subsidize it, and that's what we've been doing. Not only that, we realized that the infrastructures too are not there. Of course, these are schools, classrooms that have been built even before I was born. For instance, where my own dad went, the same old classrooms, as some of them, of course, dilapidated, and we have this huge deficit. Of course, no government can probably finish it even in 8 years. But of course, you will show that the foundation is there. You are building on probably what others have done. So to that extent, too, we started massive renovation, even reconstruction, even brand new one that we started constructing of schools. Not just doing that, we realized that the last time books were given to students was about over 30 years ago now, during the administration of Baba Olabiso Onabanjo of blessed memory. So in a scenario where you see that people don't have, even the lecturer, the teachers too, they just have one photocopy of book, and that's what they are using for students. You know, there's a problem. So we realized that we need to address that. We did. So all students of Ogun State, both in primary and secondary school, we started giving them books. And these books, because people don't know, when you just say books, they probably will not understand. I think in the primary schools, we've put pen on paper. We are looking at in excess of between maybe 14 and maybe 16 or 18,000, depending on the number of textbooks that we gave. And in the secondary schools, of course, it varies. Some even in excess of probably very close, in excess of 20,000, because some takes sciences, which probably more expensive, the textbook. But everybody, there is nobody that has not been given books and writing material. And we realize that huge deficit of even not just instructional material, even the tables, the chairs with which they will be sitting. Indeed, it got to a point that people are asked to bring their chairs from home. Indeed, still, because you know our parents, since they realize that, oh, we bought these chairs, you will see sometimes when I'm going, I see somebody say, oh, you are still can take it back home. We don't need it anymore. They will laugh and say, our mommy said, because it's our own, oh, we need to stop it. It's been there. In fact, we have to thank our parents too. So it's like that. Then we introduce, which is very key too for me. It's one of those reforms that we brought in that is, it's like a miracle. People believe, so this thing is possible. And that is to have unified examination. Before hitherto, this school will have his own, that school will have its own exam, different syllabus, and if they are running same syllabus, then we must have same exam. So we started with primary schools, now secondary schools. Now I'm happy to report that even the private schools, they too catch the bug, and everybody now, we're having a unified exam. So if you are brilliant in Bafemi Wode, and you are brilliant in Ogun Waterside, and probably in Ipokia, it will show. So because you all write the same exam. And our teachers, we realize that teachers are being owed, then we know that you cannot get the best from our teachers when they are not, when they are poorly paid. We realize that they must be trained. Our teachers are good, but we must continue to train them. We have programs that we call Train the Trainers. Their salaries are being paid as and when due. So those are the kind of things that we brought into education, and it's showing, really. We have even introduced early education now. Before it is private school, they will say they are in nursery school, this, that, it is only private run. But now, we have introduced it in Ogun State. It's free too. So we are catching them young, free from nursery to primary school to secondary school level. It's only at the tertiary level that we said we cannot make it totally free, but we will subsidize it. We started what we call model schools. People have accused us to say, why model school now? We tell them that, of course, the world is dynamic. I mean, changing environment, different tools, different technologies. So we must, of course, be in tune with world best practices. And on this, I want to thank our missionaries, because Ogun State was the first port of call, really, when they came. This is where the missionaries settled. And that was why, unlike any other state in Nigeria, almost 90% of the good schools, they're owned by the missionaries. So you can imagine when the missionaries say, we want our schools back, which means all these Ivy League schools are gone. African Church Grammar School, Abeokuta Grammar School, Baptist Boys High School, St. Peter's, St. Anthony, Eshure, all of these schools, Mayflower, Ikene, Anzaruddin, Nazareth, all of these schools, they are owned by the missionaries. So for me, everybody must have the same equal opportunities to learn, and that's what we are doing. And we are getting good results. We pay our WAEC fees. Gone are those days when they will tell you that our results were withheld because they haven't paid. And another area where we have done well, and that is the infrastructures. Because we will need about 7,000, really. 7,000 because of the arithmetic that we did. If we need about 7,000 of blocks of classrooms, there's no way that we can finish it at a go. So we have started. I'm sure that by now we must have gone in excess of maybe 2,000 or maybe even very close to 3,000 now. Sube, before we came, we were blacklisted. But somehow we said, no, it's not possible. We are Ogun State. So we started to pay back. So the model school that we are doing, the model school is for when we now return the schools to these, our missionaries. We want to recreate those premier schools, and we are moving with time.